Listen, think, act, repeat.
Welcome to the Left-Wing Kingz podcast. Today we're discussing the 2024 vice presidential debate, why Israel doesn't give a hot piece of garbage about what the United States has to say, and voter apathy. I'm your HMIC, your head moderator in charge, Malik, and I'm joined today by King Ace.
What up, what up?
We got Queen Walanda.
What up?
And Queen Tina on the comments doing a thing. She said, "What's up, party people? Let's get it cracking now." On Tuesday, September 1st, the only vice presidential debate between Senator J.D. Vance and Governor Tim Walz was held in New York City. While there weren't many revelations during the debate, we didn't learn too much, there were 5 key moments that we think you guys should pay attention to in order to know more about what's going on and helps to reveal a lot about the potential VPs and their running mates. So let's talk about the first moment, January 6th.
Uh-oh.
On Tuesday, September 1st, the only vice... Oh, you know what? Let me... I'm going back to the same shit. Let me go back. I'm going to write damn shit. The discussion around January 6th was an eye-opening moment of the vice presidential debate. J.D. Vance stated, on January 6th, Mr. Trump told the protesters to protest peacefully. And on January 20th, guess what happened? Joe Biden became the president. Donald Trump left the White House. He peacefully gave over power on January the 20th.
Peacefully.
That's what J.D. Vance said. Ace, what does Vance's response tell you about his memory and his support of democracy?
It just tells me that he's drinking, the Trump Kool-Aid like everybody, and he's bending reality to his own truth. You know what I'm saying? Like peacefully. Nobody in U.S. history transcended the peaceful transformation like Trump, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? He riled up the crowd, sent them down there to attack on January the 6th. It's not like you just picked a day out of a random day to have a protest. He knew January the 6th was the date they were going to confirm the presidency.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He knew for months. They've been planning it for months to do that. You know what I'm saying? So for J.D. Vance to get up there and act like, oh, man, but what happened on January the 20th? He left gracefully. You know what I'm saying? Like, What kind of bullshit you want us to believe, dog?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so democracy, I just got it's a cult. It's a part of the Republican Party that just really isn't for democracy, man. It's just not part of it. He's just showing that that's the side that he's riding on.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Let's just, go over some of the facts that happened. And again, this is something that you can Google, go back to your TV stations. It was on every media outlet, right? Whether it was Fox News, CNN, ABC, CBS, NBC, and we can go on and on and on. We all know what we saw with our own eyes.
Exactly.
So we have to go and just acknowledge the fact that a large group of protesters, right, or supporters of if then at the time Trump was the president, they went and stormed the Capitol. What happened at that, and just like you said, they were trying to certify the results so that the significance of the date is significant. January 6th was where they were going to certify the election results that we all participated in. Mm-hmm. So he had a lot of false claims, right, of election fraud, which we know we had multiple, as far as court cases, that found it to be untrue. And his, again, supporters, himself and his allies were still pushing that narrative, and we're still fighting that today, obviously. Offices were vandalized. We're all talking about vandalism, right? We're talking about looting. We're talking about breaking and entering, right, unlawfully. They clashed with the Capitol police officers, and I do want to take the time out because, I'm ashamed that I did not look at the name of the officer who laid his life down for trying to stop what was happening as far as the riot, and his name was... Let me find him.
Sicknick.
Yes, Sicknick was his name. And so he died that day. So we need to acknowledge that people died. Lawmakers were evacuated. They were hiding under tables and locking themselves away because, again, they felt their lives were threatened at the time from these rioters, right? So we had evacuation. They led to 5 deaths, again, including that Capitol Police officer. He was an officer of the law, Brian Sicknick, and more than 100 officers were injured. Those are facts of the case as far as what happened. So I think J.D. Vance did forget a lot of the the facts that came along with what happened and the tragedies. Like, we lost lives, and everybody talks about support the blue, but were we supporting the blue on that day? Were we supporting us on that day?
Right.
Were we supporting democracy? Those are the questions that J.D. Vance failed to answer that night.
Man, they threw a right-wing Woodstock before that. Like I'm saying, they had a whole
Basically.
festival of the most craziest people from the right wings, Giuliani, Alex Jones. I mean, you name them, they were there on the right there protesting, having all these things, getting these people riled up for like 2-3 days, just going in.
Yeah. Steve Bannon on his show and
Yeah.
all of that.
And then this idiot gets up and basically says, we're going to march down there on January 6th. Oh, by the way, they're actually confirming votes down there while they're down there. We're going to go over there and we're going to take the government back. Exact words that he said. So for J.D. Vance to look at that and well, you know, it's insulting.
Right.
Because you're talking to me and telling me something that I see that I ain't seen. Oh, man, he transferred it peacefully. Bullshit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If that would have went the way it would have went, we'd be dealing with King Trump right now. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically, you know, it's just crazy that that they're still gaslighting
Right.
their base with that, and they're believing that because it's just a gaslight. Like nothing that he says. That's why I truly believe even if he loses the election, it's going to be something after that. You know, he's definitely going to deny that the election was rigged, but he's going to try to have something similar to what happened
Right,
because
part
nothing
two.
happened to him this time. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So,
right. Part two. Do know that he was impeached for the second time by the House of Representatives
Yeah.
due to January 6th. So there was actually proceedings. Yes, we are aware the Senate did not confirm that, but as far as he was impeached twice.
let's say Mitch McConnell didn't confirm that.
Yes, true.
History's going to write down Mitch McConnell as the culprit of everything that happened, starting with making sure that Obama didn't get his Supreme Court pick all the way up to January 6th. He's just been diabolical in the back, so that's the evil villain.
Yeah.
Mitch McConnell, let's say his name, not the damn Republican Party.
True.
I just think that for him to say, you know, things that are his opinion, that's fine. But when you say Trump told the protesters to peacefully go down there, that's a straight up lie.
Yeah.
All right, and that's insulting, like you said. And to be on a debate stage, and I guess nowadays it's okay to lie during a debate because we know from the past with Trump that a lot of lies have been said during debates. But it's really sad that we desecrate something as serious as January 6th by belittling the people that were involved, all the things that you said, Walanda, all the things that happened, all of the actions of those protesters who went there and did multiple things. They've been convicted of multiple crimes. For someone to stand up there and say, I want to be your vice president, and then say, and it's no big deal. We gave it up. We gave him the power after we did all the shit. If he would have went up there and said, you know what? After we went up there and fucked shit up, we left. That would have been the truth.
Yeah, that'd have been
and
the
that's
truth.
what he should have said. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes down to it, it's really sad. And another thing that's really sad is what happened with the 2020 election results discussion.
Okay.
The 2020 election was an interesting topic of the vice presidential debate. At one point during the discussion, Mr. Walls asked Mr. Vance, did Trump lose the 2020 election? Mr. Vance's response, I'm focused on the future. Okay. Walanda, why should this response concern American citizens?
Because it's an evasion of the fact or a direct acknowledgement that Trump lost. He lost. He is. Just to give you some, again, from Pew Research and AP News, Biden received 306 electoral votes over Trump's 232, and Biden won over 7 million as far as the popular vote. Again, that's Pew Research and AP News. Go Google it. He lost. And it's not acknowledging that fact. It's still, again, creating that political unrest, hence why January 6th existed, because people really thought that he won for some reason, and it's clear that he lost through the Electoral College as well as the popular vote. So he did a double doozy lost, okay? He lost the popular vote as well as he lost the Electoral College. And you can go and Google that information. So basically just raises concerns about whether someone endorses or enables this type of activity. Like, I'm like, where are we at as a country where you lose and you gracefully lose and you bow out and you thank the winner and then you move on. That's how you move forward. But him just saying and not acknowledging the fact that Biden won and Biden is the legitimate president at the time is insulting to everyone and to the democratic process.
Yeah, man. It's just, J.D. Vance, he's a cheater, right? He cheated. Because, he did that too smooth. He dodged that question like a nigga called cheating. You know what I'm saying? Just for real. It was just straight deflection. Like, hey, what's her name? Ain't the game on right? That nigga just turned a complete corner around that damn question.
Exactly.
If I'm correct, Wanda, that whole movement was called Stop the Steal.
Yeah.
Stop the Steal. Meaning that, they're still in the election. Let's go after it. It's just, I think when it comes down to everything, we start talking about what's going on with the gaslighting and everything. It's people that honestly live in that world and believe that,
Yep.
and have no facts behind it other than listening to those idiots that are talking to them.
Yeah.
And so for J.D. Vance, and I'm gonna tell you, to be honest with you, when I looked at the debate, he seemed. I mean, I was impressed by how articulate he was.
Oh yeah.
I was impressed by his presentation. Like if he wasn't up here siding on this nonsense, I mean, he's a good candidate. So it's just surprising for me to and I know, and even in the beginning of his career, he wasn't buying into it, and I think that's the path that he should take. But ambition's a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Sir.
And so with that being said, hey, he's got an opportunity to try to, even if he runs for vice president, doesn't win, it just puts him in the spotlight. And probably after Trump probably being the number one person in the Republican Party, and I guarantee you, he'll probably flip. If Trump don't win and he goes away, he'll probably flip and go back to, I was just saying what I needed to say to do whatever, you know what I'm saying? But it's just, it just pisses me off that people kind of buy in and believe this shit,
Bro,
believe
he
the
already
election was
admitted
stolen,
that he will lie in order to get you to pay attention to something. When he
Yeah.
talked about the dogs and the cats being eaten in Ohio, he already admits that he'll lie on purpose.
That's just going
to
away.
get his
Ain't
way.
nobody talking about that shit.
So to
no
what you saying,
Yeah.
he'll say whatever to get his way.
Yeah, like any politician and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, that's why I think it's funny because people keep saying, "Well, I'm tired of the political jargon and you know what I'm saying." And then I was like, "But then this is the game that they play. They tell you what you want. They try to get some type of attention." J.D. Vance is the reason he's articulate. He's highly educated. We know what type of. I never said that he's not educated. He is smart, and that's why he knows how to handle himself. Unlike the one who's going to be the president of the United States if we don't vote correctly on November 5th. Like he's engaging, intentionally engaging. He knows what to say. He knows what not to say. He knows how to say it.
Yeah.
I said that's the thing that we're trying to get away from as far as with politics. We want somebody who's more authentic. How authentic is that? He's just as fake as the rest of them.
Yes,
He's just
ma'am.
very articulate in what he does.
Somebody was on the show a couple of days ago. I was looking at and tried to argue now. Well, Trump ain't a politician. That's why we like him. He's a businessman. No, that nigga's a politician, dog. What you talking about? He was the president for 4 years. If he wasn't going in, he is now.
Yep.
And J.D. Vance just proven that he's a politician. And like I said, from his presentation and everything during the debate, I was impressed. But once again, back in the Stop the Steal movement, talking about and none of them now come out and say, like some people will say like he lost the election, but there's a but after it. But, you know what I'm saying? Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? The dude lost, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And, and by any means, I really honestly think he's going to lose again. It's just going to be, we don't win either way. Lose or win, we don't lose. Because this dude still ain't going to go away. He's going to be on another Stop the Steal bullshit. No telling where that's going to lead us.
Right.
Well, when I look at the whole situation, man, I'm just kind of, once again, I look at the words that he said and look at the context behind it. And his response was, I'm focused on the future. When you want to focus on the future.
Yeah.
When you want to focus on the past, you say, Kamala's been the president for the last 3 years. What has she done? Well, that's the past.
Yeah.
When you say shit like, well, ask yourself if you felt better about your situation 4 years ago or today. Guess what, nigga? That's the past. But now, now that we want to talk about some past shit,
Yeah.
you focused on the future, huh?
Yeah, on the future. Yeah. Once again, that
This
nigga,
crazy ass shit that he talking about, focusing on the future.
you know his ass is a cheater. He moved too smooth with that deflecting shit.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
I do want you to focus on the future too, because if you ain't clicked the like button, click it now, and now the future will be the present, motherfucker. All right. Also, If you like this content, make sure that you subscribe to Left-Wing Kingz to see more videos just like this every week. All right. So the next thing I want to talk about is a heated conversation that they had for healthcare. One of the most heated parts of the vice presidential debate was when the discussion on healthcare came about. There was a serious discussion about the presidential candidates and their support of Obamacare. Wanda, how did Trump show his support or lack thereof of the Affordable Care Act?
Okay, so we got to go back to the past. So that the Trump campaigned that he was going to repeal it.
Yes.
So that was
Yeah.
his number one campaign. Yeah. Okay. So again, go back to Fox News, go back to CNN, go back to CBS, NBC, ABC. That was his campaign.
Yep.
Was I'm going to repeal it. So just a couple of things that he did along the way. First, he tried to trade the name because they kept saying, what is it, the Health Care Act or, you know.
Affordable Health Care.
Affordable Health Care Act. But I still call it Obamacare because that's what it is and that's what how it initially came about. Well, he did some legislation efforts in 2017. Republicans tried to pass what's called the American Health Care Act. That was parts that actually weakened Obamacare.
Right.
So some of that did pass. And so it weakened some of the things that you actually can do. Some of those were like the dates. I guess it shortened the time period, the open enrollment. So it shortened the time period for it on there. So he did do that. And he had some executive actions that he even took place to get rid of it. Again, he was not in support of it. He campaigned on it and he tried to follow through, but unfortunately he wasn't successful with that. So as far as the executive actions, Trump used executive orders and policy to, again, weaken parts of it. So he reduced the funding, and that was a part of the open enrollment. He shortened them period, so then that poor people couldn't get it in time.
Yep.
But I don't think that's showing support. I'm just saying, if you're trying to weaken something, that means you're trying to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We know, I mean, it's not written in stone and nobody admit to it, but we know when Trump ran for office, the way he won the lock and step Republicans is by going in and trying to erase anything Obama accomplished. And the affordable health care was one of them. What they didn't realize is a whole bunch of poor white people on that shit, too. You know, I remember them
For real.
town hall meetings, them dumb Republicans was up there having a meeting, talking about they're going to repeal Obamacare. And it's like, what, you going to take my health care away that I just got?
Yeah.
You know, a lot of us, a lot of us was grown in the Bush era. And we know what Bush era health care looked like. And it's way worse than it is now. You know what I'm saying? So Obama actually came in and did something with health care that the Clintons, nobody was able to do.
Right.
And that's his legacy. That's what's left with him. Trump's legacy was to come erase everything Obama did. And he couldn't accomplish that. So he was never for it. So whatever gaslight they trying to do on this now is bullshit. They doing it now because it's embedded now. It's an embedded thing that everybody has to deal with. And how Republicans always say, "Oh, we got a better health care plan."
No, you don't.
Never seen it.
You got concepts.
No, concept of a plan.
Yeah,
Of a plan of a plan.
their health care plan is, let's get money back to big pharma and,
Yes.
and
Right.
to the insurance companies.
Yes.
That's
Because they're
what-
hurting now.
Yeah, they're not even
Not for
hurting
the people. Well, I'm saying, like, in
They
the sense
sure
that they're
ain't.
not, as far as lucrative, as far as more money, because when you help the people, guess who you so-called are hurting? They're still benefiting
They're
from it. But
making
you know what I
less,
mean?
your
But they're
point.
making, but they still are okay. They're okay. So
Right,
if you
great.
took $20 from us,
They
we'll be
great.
They're
okay.
more than fine.
They
We'll be
great.
okay.
Big pharma charging 10 times as much for medicine here than they are
Anywhere else.
And we don't even
Crazy.
talk about insurance.
Yes.
Health insurance, they've been charging people with existing conditions for
Right.
years. None of them are hurting. They
No.
just greedy. You know what I'm
Greedy.
saying?
Yes.
And, and that's the
Greedflation,
bad part
like I keep
about it.
saying.
So all Obama and them went back and still, with that being
help
said,
people.
they couldn't get it where it needs to be. You know, like you say, you got countries that got free health care for everybody. The government just
Yeah.
pays for it.
Exactly.
But not with these greedy son of bitches that are over there. Shit.
Hey, well, I mean, they're like you said already, Affordable Care Act or Obamacare, whatever you want to call it, it's the foundation of us moving to a better plan. Now, some of what they said during the vice presidential debate was like, J.D. Vance tried to say like he fixed it and he made it better. Could there be improvements to it? Yes.
Obama
definitely.
said the
Everything
same
could be
thing. He
improved.
said
Yeah,
that.
there's definitely room for improvement. But at the end of the day, Trump ran on, like you said, repealing, getting
Yeah.
rid of it. People ain't trying to get rid of like that pre-existing conditions.
Yeah.
Being able to get insurance when you got cancer,
Yeah.
to be able to switch. That's some real shit to people,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Like you trying to insurance companies don't want that shit.
No.
They want that shit off the table so they can just decline your ass and say,
Yeah.
nah, nigga, you got congestive heart failure. We ain't helping you if you have a heart attack, nigga. That's
Yeah.
expensive. You know what I'm saying? And for him to say today or during the debate on the first that all of a sudden this dude was all gung-ho about Obamacare and wanted to
Nah.
just improve it and make it so much better than what
No.
you just selling us a bag of bullshit and we ain't buying it, man.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that leads me to the next discussion, which is some other bullshit about vice presidential power. During the vice presidential debate, J.D. Vance called out Kamala Harris for not enacting her ideas while she was vice president. He said, she is a sitting vice president. If she wants to enact all of these policies, I invite her to use the office that the American people already gave her. Ace, how the hell can Kamala Harris enact her policies as the sitting vice president?
I got one better for you now. Name a vice president that enacted anything that you can remember right now. I only know one that did something. I mean, we can go back. There's only one vice president that tried to do something, and they didn't let him do that shit. And that was Al Gore when he was telling us about global warming. And they told him he was crazy back then. He couldn't even get it going. You know what I'm saying? So,
Bro, to your point, and I'll let you keep going. The first lady has had more power enacting things than the vice president. Like Michelle with the lunch and the school stuff and Nancy Reagan would say no to drugs. Shit like, nigga, they got more power.
They get to come with something. Vice president is usually used in the administration and always carries something for the president. Like they focus on something the president doesn't really want to focus on, or they want to assign to him, whatever the case may be. But they don't usually enact their policy. You never see the vice president having at the podium talking about the things they want to enact and they want to do. Usually they're part of the administration. They've got to sign something from the president.
Right.
Like Kamala got assigned immigration. You know what I'm saying? Which I thought was unfair first and foremost, because that's something that never goes away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, who you assign
Big
it
problem.
to? But that's usually how that works. I can't remember what Dan Quayle was, if he was assigned anything. You know what I'm saying? So, and we know Mike Pence the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So, that's all a crock of shit. And for J.D. Vance, guess what? If you win, you ain't gonna push your agenda. You know what I'm saying? Oh well, you know, I'm sorry. It's only one vice president really pushed his agenda, and that was really Cheney. I think Cheney was a beast, but that was a whole other thing. He came into that thing with an arrangement that he was kind of running things from within. I mean, technically, he was making a lot of the big decisions that the president probably should have been making. You know what I'm saying? Like he was sitting in the situation room making things happen.
Bush was making origami in the corner, sitting there with his legs crossed, Indian style. Nigga.
Yeah, but
So mean to Bush. Leave him
I would say more of a vice president's more of an influencer or an advisor. You know.
Correct.
Kind of like Biden with Obama, he was more of an advisor. Biden was more of a foreign policy expert, so he kind of played in that field. But they don't really come and push policy like that. So bullshit once again.
Gotcha. And again, you can always Google what does the vice president's role is. Everybody can research that information. So let me tell you what the VP powers is. The vice president of the United States does not have direct authority to enact policies. Exclamation point. Period. The end. They do not even have the power to do so. Okay? So their primary constitutional roles are to serve as the president of the Senate. So when they cast a vote, they're normally the deciding factor. That is their primary role. Okay? So there's a tie. They're going to cast the last vote, which way we're going. They succeed the president if they're unable to serve. So if he passes away, if he comes incapacitated, then they now assume the role of the presidency. And last, like Ace said, power to influence policy through the advisory role to the president. So you have to think of it in a circumstance of, again, put yourself in the business world. So you have a president of the company, CEO, and then you have the underneath. Okay, CEO has the power to do more than the other one. They can influence them, but that's all the power that they have. They have the power of their words. Now, again, that individual has to be accepting to that, right? Which they may or may not be. But as far as enacting policy, the vice president does not have the authority to do so. So you saying, why hasn't she done? She cannot do. He could not do. The end.
You can
Yep.
tell. You can tell who the educator is on this show, right?
He
Yes.
is highly educated.
You can
He's
tell-
so
no,
silly. He's just
no,
funny.
I'm talking about you. You can tell.
No, you is
Like research and
You is
data
not.
specialist.
You can tell who
Yeah.
be teaching people for a living and shit. You know what I'm saying, right? And she's thorough, ain't she? I learned some shit on that goddamn conversation right there.
can't
Exactly. But it's important for people
to understand.
to understand and know that, because we have individuals out there spreading falsehoods and making you think that this woman can
a
just
man or anybody.
or anyone
Well, no,
as a
no, well,
vice
they
president
think
can
it's-
just do whatever they want, and hey, I want this. Well, no, it's her turn. She wants to
Yeah.
be president, and these are the things that she
Then-
will have the power
Yes.
to influence as the president. So that's why she's talking about these things. JD Vance or whoever else can say, "Hey, you could have
can't
did it,"
either.
but she couldn't. And people don't know that because they don't take the time to do their research and look it up and find out what the true role of the vice president is.
Yeah, I mean they play on the words because if something's going good, they'll say, "Hey, that's Biden's economy." You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Well, that's why the power of influence is so powerful. Like when you think of an authority figure, so you have a politician in here, like your former president, and you got JD Vance because he's articulate. So you're like, oh, he's telling the truth. Oh, yep, that's true. And so nobody takes the time out to research that information for
playing on
themselves.
that. They're playing
They
on
play. Oh yeah, because people do not take the time out because for whatever reason
They're taking advantage of the meme,
Right.
the meme society now.
They have the power to
They look
influence.
at that and
Gotta
they
be
they
careful.
get their information that quick off of
Yes.
a meme or off of social media. So all they're doing is making sound bites, and
Right.
I'm a believer and I'm a go. But a lot of these people, when you start talking to them, have you researched that? And then they get to stutter.
They're like, and then you hit them back with some facts. They're
oh,
like,
where'd you find that at?
Yes.
I'm a dumbass.com and shit. That's just- like,
Sometimes.
is that all authenticated? Does that have the check mark by it? Like where you get that shit from?
Nope.
That's exactly why.
I remember one time, like there was somebody talking to Walanda on social media or something, and they had like posts that they had taken down for misinformation
Yeah.
and shit. You know what I'm saying? And she like, look, I ain't never had no post. She posted back
Ain't
a comment.
nobody
I ain't
fact
never
check
had
me."
no fact check had to pull my post down for misinformation. So what are you talking about, sir? But anyway, that even, I mean, that conversation that you had with that person online was a lot more heated than the debate. So I want to kind of get to that. 'Cause, you know,
Very.
the vice presidential debate saw a return to political correctness, which was a breath of fresh air to some and boring as hell to others. Walz and Vance didn't villainize each other when they had opposing views on topics. They actually seemed to go out of their way to give their opponent the benefit of the doubt when in some of those conversations. So, Walanda, how did political civility impact the debate, and do you think that it will ever last?
Yeah, the civility or the lack thereof, I think it shapes like your perception. Like people like me, I know everybody says they like drama, but I really don't. Not when it comes to my personal. I understand the impact of the election and how it can impact me and my life on there. So you look at the leadership and professionalism of the candidates. So respectfully, I would say J.D. Vance held himself to be very civil, you know. So you look, and so now I'm listening to his words because I'm enticed by that, by the professionalism for that. Now, whether civility will last depends on the broader political spectrum. The point is that he's aligned to someone who lacks civility.
Yeah.
So you got one who's civil and you got the other one who's not, and such an extremist on the other end. I don't think it's going to last just because he's tailored to that, like he's partnered with that on there. And so I think people are in a point where they're so desperate for real discourse that they want it. They want civility, but again, when you have someone who has less of a temperament, such as our former president does, I think it's going to be very difficult. I think
Yeah.
they both of those gentlemen handled themselves very well. I think that's why everybody really listened to the policies and things that they were saying because of the professionalism. But I don't think it's going to last because it really depends on who's still running for office. And we have one who's less civil than the other.
Yeah.
So
I
makes it
think
difficult.
like McCarthyism, Trumpism will go away, and I think this is going to be one of the telling signs. I think out of everything, most people enjoyed the fact that they just actually had an intelligent fucking conversation in front of us,
Right.
even though they had differences. It was an intelligent conversation. You know what I'm saying? And just the Trumpism effect of the immaturity of where they've come to now. I think it's gonna, I think
Good point.
that it's gonna like surpass. I think it will with Trump going away, and I think that even probably some people know, and I can guarantee you, I've got friends that are on the right side right-wing friends, and all of them say some of the same things. We can't stand him, but he's all we got. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause
That's a lie.
I mean, I'm just saying, but that's
I know that's what they
that's
say.
what they say.
Right.
But that tells me they're tired of his bullshit too. You know what I'm saying? It's just they feel captured. You know what I'm saying? I guess. So my hope is a couple of things. That one, seeing them have a civil conversation about policy and politics, tell some people like, damn, this is actually how it used to be. Because unfortunately, for the last 8 years, there's some people that voted the first time for Trump. They think this is what politics is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so hopefully it brings us back to the time to where we can actually have these conversations, and along with some of the Republicans that are like Republicans for Kamala, like the Cheneys and some of the people that crossed over. We're starting to see a trend of the Republican Party just saying we just want our party back so we can get to that point where we can just have civil conversations and we can govern and pass policies. Because right now it's just a fucking shit show with this guy ahead, and I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, and they unfortunately have to figure that out. And I think what they do is they figure out a way within to be like, let's get back to what we just had.
Right.
Because I mean, you know, anything I think out of the out of this debate, that's what we took away and said, okay, man, this is how it should be.
That's what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
Allows people to focus on the policy.
Like
you
nobody
said.
talking about eating cats and dogs and
Right.
telling the Proud Boys to stand up and all this bullshit during the damn debate. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So hopefully we get back to the civility that you're talking about, and we can govern and do the things we need to do as a country.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with everything you said. I hope that we can get back to civility in our political discourse. We don't have to agree, but we just need to be able to respectfully disagree. You know what I'm saying? And for some reason, like you said, hopefully Trumpism goes away just like McCarthyism, like McCarthyism. But what I will say is this, to your point, I agree with your point that some people say he's all we got, Trump's all I got, so I got to vote for him. But to those people, I will tell you this, and I've told my wife this, and I've told other people this. You had a primary where you had 8, 9 other choices. Who'd you vote for then? That really tells who you really are. Now, if you voted for Nikki Haley or somebody else during the primary, great. Then you really mean what you're saying. That Trump now might be all you have. But you had 8, 9 other choices before his ass was selected. You could have picked somebody else. So don't give me that bullshit if you voted for him during the primaries, because it's a bag of bullshit. He wasn't your only choice.
Yeah.
And they on the same policies. They're in
They
your
are.
party.
But
They're pretty much aligned.
But let me
Yep.
throw something else out. This fool didn't even show up to the primaries.
And they
and
still
won.
voted for
And they still
him.
voted for him.
Why?
That's an insult. He didn't even show up.
That's
Well,
the
why
question.
he don't know shit. He didn't want to be battling with, he don't want to be on the stage with no Nikki Haley. He got exposed early in the game. You know what I'm saying? But why are the Republicans okay with that? Like, why are they okay with like Nick, you don't show up. I forgot. You don't play. Like, come on, dog. You didn't even show up. Got you. Don't worry about it.
To me,
you
it shows a
disqualified.
broader problem, like
Yeah.
inside the party, and they're gonna have to do some reflection. Like, you have a problem possibly with minorities, you have a problem possibly with women in power, you know, like you need to do some self-reflection. I'm sorry, there's self-reflection time because there was a parade of different varieties that you could have chose from, but you still chose him. And why did you choose him?
Yeah.
That's what they need to think about.
You know how gangster it is to win something, you don't even show up to it? You know what I'm saying? Could you imagine winning the gold medal at the Olympics, you don't even show up to the race? Oh,
You
man.
win. We saw your times earlier.
I mean, you good, man. We saw you in the nationals, man. You won already. Everybody else
It's insulting.
competing for second place.
Yeah.
It's insulting.
It's crazy.
Well, it's crazy, and it's a big problem, but something else that's crazy, and it's probably even a bigger problem, is what's going on in the Middle East right now. So, on October 1st, 2024, Iran fired 180 missiles into Israel, escalating tensions in the Middle East. Despite pressure from the United States to show restraint, there are strong indications that Israel is going to retaliate against Iran, and today we're exploring the reasons why Israel might take action regardless of what the United States has to say about it. So the first one is about the preemption doctrine. Israel has a long-held belief in a doctrine of preemption when it comes to national security. This doctrine emphasizes acting decisively against any threats before they become unmanageable. But the United States is asking Israel to show restraint. Walanda, if another country attacked the United States, will we show restraint or would we embrace Israel's preemption doctrine?
I think depends on the nature and the scale of the attack itself. But after 9/11, we know where we are. Like 9/11 was not a game to us, and I think we really felt the impact of what could happen. So I think now we ain't showing a restraint. We always about power and how big we look and grandiose. So no, we would not be restrained, and we know that. So it's hard to tell another country, don't defend yourself, even though people are trying to eradicate you. Because if somebody's trying to eradicate us, we see how quickly we flew some bombs over there, started hitting buttons when 9/11 occurred. So I think our mindset is totally different, and it's hard for us, but we can be hypocrites in a lot of areas of our lives, and I think this would be one. I think if we had a large impact scale of our people being harmed, like after 9/11, there's no way there would be restraint.
Nope.
I mean, historically, we never have.
No, true, that too.
I mean, we can take the big ones, Pearl Harbor, and 9/11, and we just don't rock like that. But hell, what about the small things like the USS Cole and stuff like that? Nigga, we send the Navy SEALs on somebody in a minute. We don't and won't tell nobody.
Yeah.
True.
We'll murk your leader, nigga. We don't.
Exactly.
That's the American way. That's what we do. You know what I'm saying? So it is kind of hard, but Israel ain't us.
Right.
That's the whole thing. Like that's us bringing us. We the biggest bully on the block. Like, all right, you want to go hit the bully in the mouth. Well, you probably gonna get punched back.
But when the bully's standing behind your ass,
but if your little brother go out and start a fight, you gonna be like, yo, hold him up. If you're the bully, like, all right, I feel you, I can get him, but you can't go out starting no fights. Yeah. And even if the fight got started with you, depends on how you gonna finish it. And that's kind of where Israel's sitting right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they just ain't us.
Yeah.
And the problem with Israel is they surrounded by a whole bunch of people want to get rid of them.
That's what I was gonna say.
Right.
They are surrounded by.
They're surrounded by a whole bunch of people. That's why they got the preemptive doctrine. Pretty much, if something comes up, we got to get rid of it quick, fast, in a hurry.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But they don't sit alone being able to do that. If they were sitting on their own, that's one thing. But and you have to, and you look at the everything on a grand scale, right? Like, this is how world wars get started.
Yeah.
Because you got a bully over here, a bully over there, and these two smaller skirmishes start happening. The next thing you know, they got it gets to a bigger war to where now we fighting all over the world because of what happened with this smaller skirmish. And that's, I think, where America kind of comes in and tries to say, let's figure that out before that happens. You know what I'm saying? So
Definitely agree.
Yeah, I'll say that to your point about, like, Israel's got, like, Lebanon right there. It's got Gaza right there.
Everybody. Egypt.
Iran's on the side. You got South.
Iraq.
Just imagine if Mexico, Canada, and Japan all at one time tried to come at us. Now, you got the West Coast, the North, and the South.
We probably still.
And the only thing we got clear is the East Coast. We going to do something about that. Now, to your point, Israel is not us. They ain't us. They ain't got the backing, but they're backed by us. And I think that gives them more of a leg to stand on when they say, hey, we're going to attack people when they do something to us, because we know we got the United States that got our back.
Right.
Because guess what? If we didn't, I think you said this before,
They'd sit down.
they'd be obliterated. They would be gone if we didn't have their back. And that gives them a lot of confidence to do whatever they want. And they also know they got us by the short hairs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, we the only person you got. We the only place you got in the Middle East where you could come, be safe, yada, yada, yada. We got your back. You know what I'm saying? So they know if they're our only ally in that region, we can't abandon them. So, I mean, the preemptive doctrine, I think that if the United States was in their shoes, the United States would take that same approach to the preemptive doctrine.
Yeah.
We're going to handle it before it gets unmanageable.
Right. And have more imminent threats. It's like me and my mouth, because, I go around and I be like slick at the mouth, be like, he behind me. What you going to say? Oh, I'm going to say what I'm going to say, because he going to, and you can't do that. I feel like they're being like wifey. Like, you need to calm down a little bit. You can't be having your husband, constantly.
Can't be shining the thick
right.
of it and shit.
Right. I have to look out for him too. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
That nigga kind of big.
Yeah.
Too,
I'd be like, don't play with me.
Get back.
You
back.
see him?
Oh, my God.
Calm down.
Yeah, I mean, and just once, we had something called the Monroe Doctrine.
Right.
And that was basically where we were telling Europe, you just can't come over in America and just do whatever you want to. And if you do, similar to what they're doing, but like you say, once again, we were still the big brother, and once again, we could handle it. But like Israel is in a situation, and we had allies, but Israel ain't got nobody over there.
No.
Lying lonesome.
And I mean, and a lot of it is, like I said, once again, it's instigated. You know what I'm saying? Like Hamas, they started that shit.
Right.
Hezbollah just added on with it. You know what I'm saying? So, and Iran is backing all that. So,
Sure.
Well, it's all about political pressure. Like there's a lot of politics involved with it, and that's our next reason is there's a lot of political pressure. With all of the recent violence in the Middle East, Israeli leaders are under immense pressure to protect Israeli citizens and maintain a perception of strength. Any sign of hesitation or perceived weakness in dealing with Iran could severely damage their political standing. So, Ace, with Israel facing threats from Hamas, Hezbollah, Iran, and others, what perception might they create if the politicians from Israel do nothing?
I mean, you kind of said it. I mean, they'd be obliterated. You know what I'm saying? They'd be like, none of those countries over there are like trying to save them. You know what I'm saying? Or trying to work with them. They want them going. And like I said, I don't make it a history class. You go back to the 40s when they set it up. We pretty much after World War II cut out a chunk of the land and said, here, we're going to bring European Israelites here, and we're going to let, this is going to be their country, henceforth, quote unquote, this is the Holy Land. But people already own that land, occupying it.
Sound like America and the Indians.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, that's where the fight's coming from. You know what I'm saying? I mean, push comes to shove. If you go back, rewind history, and all the wars they have come from the simple fact that after World War II, we said, this is yours now. And a lot of people that were displaced from the Nazis, we planted them there. You know what I'm saying? Well, a lot of them actually went over there, but we basically gave them that land. You know what I'm saying? And henceforth, like I said, this thing is just big. It's been happening forever. So when and if they did nothing, they would be gone. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or at least heavily influenced to where they would have no power. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, it definitely creates a perception of weakness, and that would be domestically and internationally, so can't do that. And then you have maybe other enemies, embolden future actors in the game, and then pushing their boundaries further, I guess, because now they have that small piece, right? And then it just gets smaller and shrinks until they're completely displaced. But like you said, it's difficulty because when you think about the historical factors on how those people got there, that's where I think a lot of the anger and resentment and hostility comes from. So it just makes it different. So,
well, the Middle Eastern countries don't agree on a lot of things, but it's one thing they do agree on. That's getting rid of Israel. That's one thing. All of them line up for that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it would be if they're in a position where they can't not do nothing.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, they might want a little overboard, but they can't sit there and just not do anything. It's just no way, you know, just what it is.
I'm just going to say it from this perspective. Politicians want to stay politicians. These motherfuckers never want to get voted out. And if you could do anything to maintain your influence and your power and the money that comes with being a politician, you're going to maintain it. And showing weakness and not retaliating is not going to help you in the next election, bro. So if you are if you're getting a lot of political pressure from your citizens, from companies over there that like, hey, I'm here in Israel. I need, look, food. Just like we got the NRA and healthcare, they got the same shit over there. Do you think these motherfuckers want to be over there and having their shit exploded and their employees killed and shit like that? So they're putting pressure on the politicians as well. And they're creating a perception of strength over weakness by attacking. And they don't want to get displaced from their political position. And they also don't want, like, more countries, to your point, to join in. They got enough hate. Like you said, they ain't got nobody over there like them. Right now, you only got 3 motherfuckers against you. Yeah. But you show weakness, you may have 5 or 6 coming at your ass next. You know what I'm saying? So you can't just sit back and do nothing. And when the United States steps up every time, and we listen to, because we're not hearing the whole story. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Right.
We're hearing the United States wants you to show restraint because, and they have good reason. The oil in the Strait of Hormuz, where all the shipping goes through for the oil and shit like that. We don't want to disrupt that, and then our prices go up for oil. That's about us.
Selfish.
You know what I'm saying? That's about us, and maybe even the rest of the world too, because the world uses oil. But it ain't about them. These motherfuckers care about them. They don't care about all that other shit. They probably got, look, motherfucker, I can walk over here and get me some oil, nigga, if I want some. I ain't worried about that shit. Y'all worried about everybody else but us. And the political pressure that these politicians are getting, and you put it into context for what really impacts them, then the political pressure means a lot more to them than it does the things that we care about politically. So,
yeah, it ain't no coincidence that Russia's at war right now, and they control a whole bunch of oil also.
yeah.
So, you know, and you got Iran now attacking Israel, making it crazy there. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
it's
Well-
nothing happens without coincidence, man. You know what I'm saying? There's always a grand scheme behind everything. We just ain't figured it all out yet.
Well, I got a grand scheme. The like button. Click it. Click the like button. Okay? And also subscribe to Left-Wing Kingz if you want to see more content like this. Share this content on all of your social media platforms out there. All right. So the next reason is the distrust of diplomacy. The United States has tried various diplomatic avenues to deal with Iran. And since none of them have slowed Iran down, Israel's always been wary of diplomacy. Ace, can Israel afford to rely on international diplomacy, or will military action be more effective in stopping Iran?
Unfortunately, they got to kind of deal with both. But diplomacy hasn't been good for them, especially when it comes to Iran. I mean, God, just think about us in Iran. The hostages. You know what I'm saying? Like, these fools just took hostages one time. You know what I'm saying? Just,
Yeah.
you know, the Iraq war, which was when Iraq actually fought Iran for us. Saddam Hussein, when he was actually our ally. I mean, it's never been good. So, I mean, who do you sit down with? And it's a known fact that they're backing all the groups. That's the funny part about it, is like with Israel, they're not even having really problems from a country right now. They're having problems from groups
Terrorist
backed by a country. You know what I'm saying? Even though Iran's kind of jumped up now. But like you said, if it was more countries like Israel, Sudan, and all these other countries, which they don't like them either, you know what I'm saying? But they're not having a problem with the country. They're having problems with these groups, which are backed, you know. And that's so we can't say, oh, Iran, you know what I'm saying? Since you want to attack them, let's go bomb all your people over here or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So you can't really point a finger to them. But, yeah, end of the day in the story, I think that, yeah, they need both. They have to be diplomatic in one way, shape, or form, but they have to rely heavily on military action right now because the angle that they're being attacked, like I said, they're technically not being attacked by a country. They're getting attacked by these groups. You know what I'm saying? So they have to be diplomatic, and they got to use the military thing to do that.
I would argue and say that they are being like attacked by Iran. They've been attacked by them twice. The first time with those drones, which were slow moving, so they was kind of like, it's not a big deal. To me, it's still a big deal. If they had drones come over here dropping shit on us, we'd be mad. But once again, that's the other topic. And then they had the missiles, the 180 missiles. So Iran has had direct attacks. But you're right. There are other groups outside of Iran who are backed by Iran. But if we back like Israel, motherfuckers look at us. Why shouldn't we be looking at Iran?
Yeah, shoot. I mean, I think Iran's kind of unfair because they've been an enemy so long with us. Like, I mean, it's just like I don't even know where you start diplomatically with them. You know what I'm saying? It's like Iran. You know, them dudes when they bombed Israel, they went to the streets yelling "Death to America." You know what I'm saying? Like they just don't like us,
I said,
man.
we back them, so they looking at us.
Yeah, they just don't like us. You know what I'm saying? So
we got to figure out the why.
how do you solve that diplomatically? I think everything we did diplomatically with them. When I think Obama came close, but then gave them all that money. You know what I'm saying? And that didn't work.
Leave me alone.
You know, that didn't work. So
That was their money. That
I mean, it's
we
their
go.
money that they had, but we were holding. But still, it's like I don't know what works with them diplomatically. So I'm almost leaning to the point where you can only deal with them militarily.
Right.
You know
what are
I'm
your
saying?
thoughts?
Well, I think Israel has tried to work in diplomacy, as far as with the United States and the Europe, from what I researched on it, and that they tried to sanction and pretty much tried to isolate.
Yeah.
Like they just tried to isolate them. Like, I'm gonna leave you alone. You're gonna leave us alone. We're gonna say we're not gonna deal with each other. You know what I'm saying? Just like that enemy, like at school. Like, you the bully. I get it. We don't have to like each other, but just kind of coexist on there. So I did think they tried to curb them, especially with those nuclear things that they had and stuff. But they did use military action quite a few times because it said that they had like a military action against them. 1981, bombing
was
of reactors.
Israel.
That was Iraq. No, that was Iraq. And then 2007 strike, a reactor in Syria. So they've used those kind of things like, hey, you ain't trying to blow us up or nothing. I'm going to make sure that that doesn't occur. So we're going to curb what we're doing, but we're going to blow up your stuff too. But again, I think the risk of the military action is the retaliation and the limited impact. Because Iran's no joke, though. You know what I'm saying? Those people, their patriotism's on a different level than ours. They will die for the cause. Take you with it. We're patriotic to a point, and yes, we fight and stuff, but they're on some other stuff. And I think that's why the United States does kind of take a pause. Because they ain't playing. They will wipe you off this earth.
Like, we ain't never hit the streets when America attacked somebody saying, fuck the enemy. Like, they...
Right. We don't do that. We ain't blowing ourselves
These
up.
just regular damn people and shit.
They're on a different level. And I think the United States recognizes that when they say they coming, they coming.
Yeah, I'm just saying. We ain't sat there and
No.
we got attacked and we ain't do that shit. Like,
No.
They do not like us.
They
Plain
fly
and
planes
simple.
into buildings, guys.
Yeah.
Like that's.
I will say
serious.
this though, the main thing that I take away from this is that diplomacy.
I don't think.
We've been trying that, man, and not only with Iran, Russia, China, like to your point that you said, it's a very good point. We try to distance ourselves. We're not gonna fuck with y'all. We're gonna put sanctions on you and all this and that's gonna. These motherfuckers go through all of the suffering that they going through. North Korea and like Russia is in a shithole. It's like a ghetto now. They don't care. Fuck Russia. Like fuck you. We still attacking Ukraine. Yeah, we ain't got shit. Our people are starving. We gonna attack Ukraine anyway. You know what I'm saying? Iran, same shit. Like we don't care. Y'all motherfuckers gonna eventually give us our money back anyway if y'all do some shit. So we gonna do whatever the fuck we want to do. This diplomacy shit ain't working. And Israel is like, look, motherfuckers, I'll blow up some pagers, nigga, on somebody. But I ain't trying to just sit here and sanction motherfuckers no more.
Because it doesn't
I'm
work,
done.
right? Because they still doing.
Motherfuckers ain't. It's not stopping
No.
anyone. Maybe if I blow up the pager on the old hip, you'll shut the fuck up and stop.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because they not doing that, and they're tired of it. They're tired of
They're
talk.
exhausted. Yeah.
It's just like sometimes we get tired of talk too. I mean, it is what it is. I'm tired of talk. I'm gonna do something now.
Yeah.
And that's what they doing. That's the best context that I could put around it. Man.
That's true.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's just, oh man, it's a shit show out there, man. It's funny you started pages. I was thinking like, y'all kind of wrong for carrying pages.
Hey, they did that shit because motherfuckers was intercepting their cell phones. And information. These niggas trying to.
Where they get them pages
They
from?
downgraded, nigga. Page
Downgraded.
marked.
Like, who's still rocking pages like that, nigga? Like, you know that nigga was happy. Like, y'all want what, nigga? Like, shit,
Yeah. I got a whole bunch of those.
I got 800 of them back here I can sell you, nigga. Like, little did they know them shits was bombs and shit.
Hey, man, but I want to talk about the next topic, and that goes right back to something you brought up earlier was like the influence, man, of Iran over like all these other countries. So Iran's expanding influence throughout the Middle East is a direct threat to Israeli security. With Iran continuing to supply weapons and support to groups around Israel, the threat's escalating. Walanda, if Iran continues to support these groups, how can the United States get Israel to see restraint as a viable option?
Yeah, I went through and I had a lot of reading to do last night, but I found like 6 to me key points that made kind of sense to me on the military front. So I first said military aid and defense support, which we already do that, right? So strengthen the support and joint military exercises between us and the United States. That would be number one. We're already trying that. Formal security pact. So that would be an agreement that would ensure that basically the U.S. would come to Israel's defense in case of a large-scale war. So if it got really, really out of control, we would be there to be big brother, which, again, we've already pretty much had that agreement, but that definitely would come true. Deepening the Arab and Israeli cooperation. I was like, what about like some type of regional coalition? Like, to me, it's like Israel's by itself, and that is the problem. It's like being surrounded by your bullies, and it's just you, so you need other people, you know what I'm saying? So some type of coalition there. Disrupting Iran's financial hate groups, so the Hezbollah, the Hamas, and all that. Again, you got to come in there and you got to find them first, but blowing them off, I don't know. Like targeting these areas, these hate groups, I don't know. And then multilateral diplomacy. So U.S. making progress on a broader diplomatic front. Again, just negotiating with them, like trying to have conversations. I know we've done diplomacy, but continuing those talks, I don't know what they want. I don't know the why. I know, again, we have narratives that spin through media. I don't know if we're getting the whole truth.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are we the bad guy? Like always I said, I'm like, do we always say like we're the good guy, but we had those conversations. Like maybe we are actually the enemy. I don't know. I don't know the story. I know what I hear. But again, we obviously politicians don't always tell the truth. So I'm really considered about the why behind all this.
Yep.
And then setting red lines with Iran. Like, hey, you do this, we're done. We're in war. It's going to be what it's going to be. Like you said, you can only talk so much to where the talking, there's nothing happening. And now you have to be a little bit more forceful. So I think there should be a red line. There's a line in the sand. Draw it.
Well, I mean, to go back to what you said, we are the enemy. If you look at it from their end, like, you know, let's not be naive. You know, we've done things to make them have reasons not to like us. Like, think of Desert Storm. We just went over there. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are that with you know, we that nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just gonna pull up on you. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. If you think about any of the wars, Iraqi wars, Afghanistan, any of that, that's us. We bombed the hell out of some people. There's some people that died out of that. There's some people that literally don't like, they see red, white, and blue, and they turn red. You know what I'm saying? That's just real. And that's just, sometimes as Americans, we get naive because we fall into the realm of we're always the good guy and we're always doing it. You know, if you think about when the Bushes went to Iraq, they went just to get oil. That was it. They told us, weapons of mass destruction and da.
Yep.
They built a pipeline from Saudi Arabia to Kuwait, and they needed to go through Iraq to do that. So they went and knocked off Saddam Hussein and built it. And Halliburton and all those companies, Cheney and the Bushes were involved with that. You know what I'm saying? That's why you don't hear shit from them. You know what I'm saying? Real tough.
Sorry, made them mad.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But, so we are the enemy. Just what it is, you know. But, you know, in life, you have enemies, and that's just what it is. We can't sit here playing around with them. That's what kind of when I see like these college kids protesting and blah blah blah, not understanding the historical fact of that. You know what? If you land in Iraq or Iran somewhere by yourself, being an American, you probably ain't coming back.
Yeah.
You know, or you're gonna go to jail for a long time on some trumped up charges. They don't like you.
Yeah.
They will kill you. Now, do I agree that Israel had to bomb the hell out of Gaza like that and kill up all the Palestinians? I don't. But Hamas didn't need to run amongst them either and kidnap their people. You see what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's like somebody slapping you and running into the crowd. You don't know who the hell it is. You probably going to start slapping every damn body.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Unfortunately. But so I think a lot of times as Americans, we fall out of that context on who the real enemy is. Understand who your enemy is, who you're playing with. And Iran is an enemy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They don't like us.
Yeah.
Because they don't like Israel. They don't like us, and we like it. So that's why they bombing the hell out of Israel. Yeah. And it's real people dying over there on them streets, man. So just be aware of that.
I think like you said, the influence like that they have in the region, Iran's influence is big because they're large, they're powerful, they got money, they got resources, and they can help the other people who hate America, you know, get at America or any of America's allies. And one of the biggest like analogies that I could put up like about how like this hatred is there is, let's talk about Breonna Taylor. Y'all might not get this, but you will in a second. Breonna Taylor, innocent, in her house. There's a bad guy who she's dating. Police think the bad guy's in there. So guess what? The police gonna go in there and get this bad guy, but they kill her. Innocent. That's what happened in Iraq. We told everybody, well, there's a bad guy over there. So we gonna go in there and we gonna take him out. But then when going over there, they not only took him out, they killed members of these people's families.
Yeah.
People that they know. So it's just like somebody coming in your house saying this person is bad in your house and then just killing anybody they want because they in that house too. Even though they ain't did shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's when I think about an analogy with like what happened with Iraq, I think about Breonna Taylor. Innocent bystander. He wasn't even there, if I remember correctly. Like,
Yeah, no.
she wouldn't even with him no more.
She wasn't even dating them no
You
more.
know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
they went off a presumption of something that was there that wasn't. Just like they said, well, they got weapons of mass destruction. Was there any weapons of mass destruction? Nope. But we still went over that motherfucker and killed a bunch of
Bombed the
innocent
shit out
people.
of 'em.
So of course they hate us.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you hate somebody that came in your house and did that shit?
Yeah,
Just
wrecked your whole life.
Wrecked your whole fucking life and killed your relative just off of some presumption of evidence that didn't even turn out to be true?
Mm-hmm.
And then, like you said, they had ulterior motives anyway.
Yeah.
You know?
And the funny part about it, how war is now, they can hit with drone strikes.
Yeah.
We ain't even on the ground with them.
Nope.
We bombing them with drones. So that's even worse.
Mm-hmm.
They done blew up some schools and shit. You know what I'm saying? On accident. You know what I'm saying? Some kid in Indiana somewhere flying a drone.
Yeah.
Blew up somebody's school or whatever. I always saying we go over there and we do shit. I said we creating soldiers. That's how we do. We creating more enemies, man,
That
because
hate us.
that hate us. So there's a legitimate hate over there.
Yeah.
You said, but you got to understand that, hey, you know what? We from this country. Wars happen. You know what I'm saying? Just be aware of what that means.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So.
And that hatred that we create makes it easier for Iran to have supportive terrorist groups and people backing them. And it makes it easier for them to influence other people. But it also makes it easier for Israel to act independently. And that's the next topic on here.
Right.
So Israel has a long history of acting independently when it comes to military decisions, even when its closest ally, United States, opposes those moves. So despite American objections, Israel has carried out strikes and attacks, and they have argued that they couldn't wait for international consensus when the survival of their own country is at stake. So Ace, with all the support of that the U.S. provides Israel, should Israel prioritize its own strategic assessments over the United States' request?
They kind of have to. I mean, it's like a yes to it. I mean, in a perfect world, we'd like them to come to us first and be like, hey, you know, because we're somewhat involved. But I think this whole conversation, we've been talking about, hey, man, they in the heat of it. They in the thick of it. Sometimes they're going to have to do things on their own and make decisions, whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
Like you said, you're talking about survival. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of things are done to put us in the cross. You know what I'm saying? Really.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to do this to Israel because we know it's going to put America in the cross. You know what I'm saying? Now they're going to have to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? So, in a perfect world, it would be nice if we could be like, hey, well, don't do this and don't do that. Back to when we were talking about weakness, though. How do we look if we don't strike back? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
If we don't do anything, then how are we going to look? That means they're going to strike again or they're going to do whatever. You know, I just think about it, man. Even when I think about October 7th, you know, Hamas really just said, hey, man, they're having a festival over there. Let's go grab 1,200 people and bring it back over and kill some people. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just some outlandish shit. You know what I'm saying? So how do you not respond to that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That they're okay at coming across your border and just grabbing people. You know, a lot of times because we're isolated and our like you said, the people who border us, we're not hostile with them. So we don't have that idea of fear of somebody just coming and attacking us and doing something foul. But a lot of these countries, they neighbors or they enemies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you look at there, they got, you know, I guess the closest we got is Cuba and you know, over there, like I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's the closest we got. I mean, it's gates and guards over there for real. You know what I'm saying? So imagine Israel got that around all their borders.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and these cats are just looking for a reason to, let's go over here. They got people just legitimately there, probably from future, past wars or whatever, generational wars. Like my granddaddy was fighting your granddaddy and you killed my uncle and, you know, and my, you know, and Israel, my uncle's in prison in Israel right now, whatever. Like, it's generational.
Yeah.
And they come up with these attacks and stuff like that. So, and we're asking Israel, hey, you know what? Don't do anything. Can we really do that? Sometimes we got influence, but sometimes they're going to have to act on their own.
Yeah, I just think it's natural to understand self-preservation. You know, I want to live and survive as a country. So they, of course, they look out for their best interests, like for them, you know, like I deserve to be here. I want to survive and thrive. So I think that's a natural way of thinking on there. Of course, they got to listen to United States just because there's such dependency. So we depend on them, right, for intelligence. Is that why we're doing and some things? And they depend on us for everything else, you know. So I just think it's natural. It's a natural way of life to think of self-preservation and to look at your own self-interest as a people in a country.
Yeah, I agree. I also think that there's a place for some type of, I don't know, like maybe looking at the situation holistically. Like, what's the impact? To your point, Ace, like you get a few countries angry and then step out of bounds, and next thing you know, we got World War III, right? So there's always that possibility too. But what is the extent of your retaliation, or the extent of like prioritizing your own needs amongst the needs of the world? You know, when you look at those two things, like there has to be some balance there.
United States ain't never had a balance there. I'm like,
No,
I mean,
I'm not
we
trying
give
to say that they do,
we don't have a balance.
but I think that there have been times when, to other people in other countries,
That's why they're
like you
mad.
said, they mad, right?
They're
They
mad
don't think
because
we've
we
had
don't
any
think.
balance, right? We might think that we have, but we only hearing what's being told to us, right? If you were to go to another country, and they were to talk about how they feel about America and why, it would probably be an eye-opening experience
Yeah.
for you. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
even when we travel, we get looks. Like it's different. I think our darker skin kind of leads us in a different direction. But you can tell, I don't know, you do get a vibe about, I don't know, it's a different experience when you go overseas and different places and how they view you.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you
If that
go,
makes sense, you know?
You know, and it's funny when you go international. You got to take some of your American off, you know, because I think Americans are isolated more than they think. So you come and you have
Yeah.
beliefs and things because of your isolation. Most of us don't speak a second language.
Yeah.
Most of us are arrogant and boastful. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Entitled.
that's just entitled. You know what I'm saying? You know, we used to complaining to the manager if we don't
Yeah.
like shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and I think that when you go overseas,
Yeah.
that culture comes off on us. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think you'll be surprised because of our lack of worldly knowledge and our isolationism. Like the head moderator was saying, man, if we sitting around and we talking to somebody, they start telling you really about what they think about America and what we've done, I think it'd be an eye opener to a lot of people. And you know,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. Well, another thing that's an eye opener is why motherfuckers don't want to vote. That's a big motherfucking eye opener for me. So let's talk about voter apathy in the 2024 general election. Voter turnout has always been a critical factor in elections, and when people don't feel motivated to vote, it can sway the outcome of the election in surprising ways. So today we're going to explore 5 reasons why voter apathy could significantly affect the 2024 general election and why it's something all parties should be concerned about. Reason number 1 is disillusionment with political parties. One of the most significant factors contributing to voter apathy is widespread disillusionment with both political parties. Many voters, especially independents and moderates, feel like neither party truly represents their interests. Walanda, what can the political parties do to motivate disillusioned Americans to get out there and vote?
Number 1, focus on policy. People care about real life. So that's what? Healthcare, jobs, climate change, education, food prices. You know what I mean? Those are the real things that people want to focus on. So if they focus on policy instead of just going back with political conflict and lies and untruths, I think that would help with the disillusionment. Also promote inclusivity. A lot of marginalized people feel like their voice is not being heard. You know, you can't just focus on those marginalized people, but they need to have a voice as well. So everybody needs to have a say. And then biggest thing to me is restore trust. We have so much disinformation, so many lies, blatant lies that people believe. I think it's difficult for people to listen and understand and involve themselves in a process that they feel is heavily flawed because it's nothing but distrust and lies.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people say disillusional, especially when it comes to political parties. You don't have to choose one. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm an independent. You know what I'm saying? Some things I lean more right wing on. I like guns. I don't have any problem. I don't want the Second Amendment taken away either. You know what I'm saying? Some things I'm more left wing, probably a little more blue on it because I was raised in a Democratic household. So, and just my upbringing is more supported by like social programs and understanding the small man. I'm not really rooting for the big man. but understand the political aspect of the foundation. You know, and I think the delusion is you have another option. Well, or not voting. Well, I don't really get and understand that, but you don't have a real choice in the matter if you want to have a voice.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're either going to go one way or the other. But you don't have to choose a team. You have to line yourself up with whatever policies or politicians talking more towards things that are going to, you know, make your life better. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what it is. Politics is what's going to make my life better, what's going to affect me. You know what I'm saying? And believe you me, the person you vote for does that. The people that you pick does matter. That's why voting's so important.
Yeah. I think that, like you said before, what's the why? Like, why are people disillusioned with political parties? And I think it is because it's not all about the constituents like they try to make you believe it is. Like, if politicians would stop, like, having lobbyists, like, take all the money out of the whole situation. Like, it should be illegal for any type of industry or whatever to give you money or contribute in any way, shape, or form to you. Like, everybody should have, like, if Americans can get, like, what was it, stimmy checks. If you can give out stimmy checks to Americans for free, then you should be able to put aside a pool of money for politicians to use for whatever they need to use their motherfucking money for. Their campaign, whatever. Everybody gets a pool of money. It's the same amount. Nobody can give you more money.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's it. End of story. Now I might trust you a little bit more because I know you're not being influenced by money to make your decisions. Right? Now I know you probably care more about what I have to say because only thing that matters is my vote, whether I'm going to get you in or not. Now, maybe I have people who really care about politics who are politicians rather than a bunch of lawyers and TV show people who become politicians because they know there's money there. They know they can make money in that space because now they have all these companies or whatever. So people are disillusioned because they're crooked. Motherfuckers is crooked. You got, what's his name? Santos. You got, who's the guy that just got in trouble, man?
Gold bar guy?
Yes.
I can't remember his name.
I'm like, all these motherfuckers is doing fucked up shit. And they getting in trouble for it. You got Trump. All the shit he do. Nobody trusts these motherfuckers. So they're disillusioned with political parties because political parties are crooked. And if they get cleaned up, and I don't know all the ways to clean them up, but if we can clean up the parties, maybe people would get out there and vote because now they feel like the political parties are really trying to move the needle and do something. And I always say this, you know this, policies are policies because they're the same policies they've been forever. We got policies in place that people been worried about guns since I don't know how fucking long. Like abortion.
Education.
Since I don't know how fucking long.
Yeah.
What, we can't fix this shit?
Yeah.
Policies are policies because they're easy to run on and talk about and have
Talking points.
Yeah, they're talking points. So
Well, and I think what a lot of people, and you hit the nail on the head with money, but money don't win your elections. Votes do. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of and money influences it.
But
That's
there
why
you
they spend a
go.
lot
That's
of
what I'm
money.
about to say.
No, it
Influence
influences
away.
it. No, I'm not saying it doesn't. But what I mean by that is, and I'm getting back down to the brass tacks of voting. Like we're talking about people
Yeah.
voting. Your vote still counts.
Yeah.
That's why they spend all the money and do it. That's
still
why
counts.
they influence the politicians to get your vote.
Yeah.
That's why they spend the money on all the TV ads because they're
Right.
trying to influence your
Like
vote.
I said, all of that shit
You know what I'm
goes
saying?
back to money.
Exactly.
You need the money to do that. You need the money to do this. And yes, your vote counts. But to the point of like getting back to the root cause of why this person might not vote, and in this conversation
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
it's about their disillusion with the political party.
Yeah.
So if they don't care, they're like, these parties are bullshit. They might not care that their vote counts because they don't care about either party. So they don't care about either one. And at the end of the day, I'm not giving credence to them and saying that it's a good argument because it's a horrible fucking argument.
Yeah.
Right? But what I'm saying is we have to address the root cause. And if you think the political parties are crooked, we got to do something to fix that. And then these people will vote because their vote counts.
Yeah, but I think sometimes they get caught up with the money to understand if your vote wasn't important, they wouldn't be spending that damn money.
And that's a great point.
Yeah, and people wouldn't have to die for it.
But they
People die
spend
for
the
votes.
money because they're going to end up getting more.
Oh yeah,
by
no,
being
definitely.
in office.
Right.
Yeah,
And you know, it's interesting because most workplaces, you know, even for my work, you know, in education, and like if you ran for a school board, you can't take you can't take certain gifts like
Right.
of over a certain amount. Even me myself, I have to report certain. If somebody try to give me $1,000, what you give me $1,000? I'm taking your $1,000. What you give me money for? You know what I mean? Like we don't apply those same rules in the political arena, which is kind of strange to me. I was like, but we do that in our daily
Yeah.
lives, but
We
you
don't
don't
even-
apply the same rules in politics.
We won't even do it
Why
in
is
the
that?
judicial.
No.
We got Supreme Court. It's okay for these
Taking
motherfuckers to take
trips
trips and yacht and
Like, why?
private jets.
Yeah,
All
Clarence
kind of
Thomas
shit.
acted a damn fool. Did he?
But
just-
it's not against the law.
Yeah,
And
I'm
why
saying,
is
he
that?
just-
Because it's against the rules for me, but my same rules don't apply to rules that actually impact more people. And that's what I guess is so strange about the whole policy itself.
Somebody paid off his mama's home. Like, you
Yeah.
know, how
So aren't
fucking-
you disillusioned
Yes, I'm
with like?
saying.
Like,
Aren't
why?
you like disillusioned? Like I still vote, but I
Yes.
am disillusioned with,
Oh, yeah.
with political parties and
Right.
That's why I'm an
the
independent.
judiciary
That's why I'm
and the
independent.
executive branch, all of that shit, because there's so much corruption
Behind
and
all of
there's
it.
yeah, there's so much bullshit. Yeah, but I'm not gonna let it stop me from voting. To your point,
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
voice still matters.
And I
There's
know
still
that.
policies they're talking about that I care about. But damn, I mean, there are some people who are like, man, fuck this whole game. It's a big fucking game, and I don't agree with them, but I see what they see.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, well, Clarence Thomas is okay, not only just being, to just wrecking the judicial system, but also just being a horrible representative of black people, at a high position. Like, he don't give a fuck about black people. That's just plain and
He
simple.
don't care about himself.
Yeah. I mean, but definitely,
Right.
and he took over Thurgood Marshall's position, like the
It's
first
beautiful.
black,
Yeah.
so it's like, that's the money ugly part of politics. And he ain't even an elected official. He's an appointed official.
I think they should just take I don't like I told you that before. I don't like Democrat, Republican. I think everybody should be independent. I don't think they should have a Democratic,
Well, everybody
convention
can
and
be independent.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I think we should just get rid of, here's your political figure. This is the platform that they're running on. This is what they believe. This is what they're pushing for. And then you just vote. You don't have an R or a D or anything else behind your name. You run for what you run for, your
Yeah.
own personal platform. And that would eliminate a lot of these things. But, again, there's money that's so involved. They'll never change the process. They'll never change it. Too much money involved.
And it's historical content, too.
Right. Too much.
And that goes back to the, I don't be a history nerd, but that goes back to when they wanted the governor, who's
Yes.
going to be better, federal or
right. But they
states.
should just.
They came up with these political
But you know what?
parties.
It's progressive times. Time to change. Time
Yeah.
to change.
Too much
Well-
money embedded.
Yeah,
with
I know.
damn
Yeah.
political parties.
So let's talk about the next reason. Reason number 2 is there's complex issues out there. Political issues are vast and often very complicated. For many voters, especially those who don't follow politics closely, it can feel like the issues are too complex to fully understand and their vote won't make a difference. So Ace, how can we turn confused, uninformed, and disengaged non-voters into confident, informed, and engaged voters?
Hey, we talked about this last time. Remember? Simplify that damn form when you go vote and shit. Like, take that shit out of legalese, nigga. Like, I'm not a lawyer, nigga. Just write down what y'all saying, nigga. If I vote for this, it's gonna be that. I don't need all the
Simplify.
legalese, nigga. Like, if I push yes on this, it's gonna say this. If I push no on this, it's gonna say that. You know what I'm saying? Not in a nutshell, simplify things. I think they complicate it on purpose. I think even when you talk about voting for something as simple as the president, you know what I'm saying? Like, you hear what they stand for, but I don't think a lot of people, I don't think are just educated on what the political parties stand for. It's like some people I know right now, the Republican, have no idea what the Republican Party stands for. They just there because Donald Trump is there and they like Trump.
Yep.
Hate to say it, that's what they do. You know what I'm saying? They don't understand that party stands for big business, that party stands for big corporations, and cutting their taxes, and them hopefully giving that money back to us. They don't understand the so just the education and the simplification of the voting process, I think, would be it. That people wouldn't be turned off. A lot of people say, hey, you know what? My vote don't matter. It doesn't matter to me because they don't understand.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
I had a couple, but just like Adrian said, provide accessible and clear information. Okay, people don't understand. Simplify it. Okay, this means this. If I say this, this is what you're gonna get. People don't understand that. They have it a lot in, like you said, in legal jargon that people don't even understand what they're voting for. So it makes it very difficult for them to make a decision. Explain what's at stake, like straight up. Okay, ma'am, if you vote for this, you no longer are gonna have rights to your body. This is what this means for you. Straight up, just tell them what that means. Promote voter education. Again, just educate the vote. Like, how do you register? When you have to register. It's a lot of information. I mean, honestly, my son probably wouldn't have been registered unless I registered him, but just because the dates and, you know, some of these voters, they're working, they have other things going on in their lives, and you have all these 20 million deadlines that you got to follow. It's difficult. Combat, my biggest thing is misinformation. You guys sometimes have to look things up, you know, and people just aren't willing to do that. So let's just eliminate the misinformation, flag that information as being misinformation so people understand what they're reading is untruths, and then lead them to the direction to find the information that they need. These type of comments right here, engage in conversations with others who do not think like you, who have different perspectives than you, different experiences than you. I think you need to put yourselves out there to just get different experiences in general, which will help you actually educate yourself. Make voting easier, more time related, because again, a lot of us work and it's difficult when you got 8 to 5. Well, I work 8 to 5. I don't get home. I can't get there, you know? So a lot of people, it's not an excuse. It's real life for them. Like, I literally can't get to the poll at such and such time unless I take off of work. The work means less money. Then I can't go to the, you know, it's just a downhill battle for them. And then accessible voting locations. I think there should be everywhere. I think you go next door, 0.2 miles away, you should have a voting poll. Personally, I don't think you should have to drive down the street. I don't think you have to look it up. We tried to go vote at a college, got lost. I mean, it's different. These are real experiences, and we believe in voting. But I know it is very difficult for some people, and some people aren't going to be like me and take the time out, you know, and go just because of those things. Because there are a lot of barriers that are in place.
Especially if they're trying to take away early voting anyway. They're showing in that time up and all that. And maybe if retirees are the only people that can work as poll workers and shit, like, you got to be retired to get a poll worker job because everybody else has to work or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So no, they definitely don't make it easier for you, man. So and you know, I remember, like, you know, one time we were voting for a referendum for, like, I don't know, the Alamo Dome or something. Like, it just wasn't the language. So I think I voted wrong. I was like,
sorry,
I kind of wanted that shit. Like, I voted yes because I couldn't understand the fucking wording and shit.
And I'm gonna tell you like this.
It was bad.
There's got to be a way to make things like more accessible, but make the policies easier to understand. To your point, and both of your points. And I don't know the answer right now, and I'm just gonna throw some shit out there. It's spaghetti, so maybe it'll stick to the wall, maybe it won't. Maybe y'all will say it's a stupid idea, but to me, I'm like, when you go vote, there's two things. If you have to go somewhere to vote, let me watch a video with somebody who truly, either the candidate talking about the policy, or somebody who the shit happened to talking about the policy, and then like somebody on the other side. Like, so from point A or point B, like if I'm gonna vote for Trump or Kamala, right now, they thing comes up on the screen. There's a video that Trump's talking about his policies, and that's it. He cannot talk. If he goes on there and starts talking about bullshit, they trying to get me to, it's gone. You can't, sir, that video is not the one that we allow you to have. It has to be a video talking about your policies, and then have her a video talking about her policies, and that's it. Then let the motherfucker vote. Vote on that motherfucker. And the video can only be like 30 seconds, some shit like that.
Elevator pitch.
Elevator speech.
Yeah.
Your 30 seconds on what you're going to do as president, or what you're going to do as judge, or what you're going to do as senator, or what that should be it.
That should be it.
Or if it's like a bill, like you said, on some shit at the Alamo Dome, there should be a pro person and a con person talking about their points of view. And somebody has to review those videos and say, okay, that's bullshit. Yeah, I'm going to fact check you. You can't do that. You can't say that. You're going to have to tweak it. Then come in there with them videos. Let me sit back and watch these videos. Okay, that makes sense. I like that. Or I don't like that. Then I'll vote on that. Yeah. Why we got to read a fucking legal text or a document for me to figure out what the fuck I want to vote for? Or why should I like go off and if I already know the person's policies, great. I can skip the video and just vote. I don't got to sit there and watch a 30-second video. Yeah. Or to your point about accessibility, I don't know why we can't do shit online. I don't know why I can't vote from my house. I got an ISP address that tells me who the fuck I am.
Yeah.
Can only vote once. I have to go in and put my name, my information in there.
He
I vote
getting
one
IT
time.
on you. Now he hitting you with that IT knowledge.
I
right
You know what I'm
agree.
there.
saying? I go
I
in this
do.
motherfucker and I vote at my house. Why I gotta go somewhere at all and vote? So I want to increase accessibility to voting, and I also want to remove the complexity of the policies and issues. And I think those two things, to me, just throwing spaghetti at the wall.
Yeah.
I think they
What
can
do we
help.
all have? We all have phones. We do everything from our phones. Why? Y'all ain't figured it out?
Look, you can register your
Y'all ain't figured.
vehicle. You can do all this other
Use my
official
phone.
shit.
I want to
Nigga, you
from my
can check
phone.
your blood pressure from your
your
damn
phone.
phone and
Bro.
shit, nigga. They can do all kinds of shit.
There's ways.
But I'm talking
they
about
don't want
like
us to vote, babe. We
for
don't
the
know
for the
why.
for like
They don't want you.
official shit. Like I can go on there and I can do my registration for my vehicle. I can pay a ticket.
I can pay my bills.
I can pay my bills. Like I can do all this other official shit with my own money and all this shit, but I can't do something as simple as check a box and say yes or no. Who this is the person I want to vote for, the thing I want to vote for. It's kind of crazy to me that we don't have the capability to do that yet from our own home and do it safely.
Yeah, we got it. They just don't want us to
They
have
don't
it.
want. Thank you. It's not about.
Yeah.
It's about what
Yeah,
they
I mean,
want you to do.
you know, they trying to control it. You know, that means they can't mess with the count. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't got no say anymore. Yeah, we
Yeah,
removed
no,
you
we
out
can't,
of it.
you know.
Yeah.
Go
Like, nigga,
somewhere
y'all
else.
still on paper ballots, nigga? Like,
Why we don't
Why we
nobody?
still
We
doing
don't
it?
do paper tests.
Looking like
Paper.
Scantrons
Okay,
from back in the
you
80s.
know
nigga.
what?
paper
I know they
ballots?
can. Okay, because the STAR test and every test that they do for education is on what? It's all online.
Yeah.
How I know? How do I know that kid took that test? Ain't nobody saying that. Ain't.
Your
How I know?
SAT.
Your SAT.
all my
your
damn
ACT,
certifications I
My
have.
certifications all online. So don't tell me you cannot be safe online and you ain't sitting
They
there
still got
thinking
people counting paper ballots,
I'm
nigga,
just
in
telling you.
2024.
everything's online.
Like I'm saying,
Everything's
dog.
online.
So
You know another
that's
thing that's
bullshit.
online?
The like
The
button.
like button.
You're damn skippy. The like button. So click on that like button.
You can do that from home.
You can
Yeah.
do that from your phone, from home, from anywhere. Also subscribe to Left-Wing Kingz to see more content like this and share it on all of your social media platforms. So let's talk about number 3. And I think we kind of already hit on this one, but we're going to hit it big time. Distrust of elections. After years of contested elections, accusations of voter fraud, and widespread misinformation, a large segment of the population has started to lose faith in the integrity of elections. When people believe that the system is rigged or that their vote doesn't count, they're far less likely to participate. So, Ace, how do we get people to trust elections again?
Well, we got to stop the misinformation for one. That's bullshit. You know what popped in my head when you were saying that, and after our last conversation, nigga, we do a better job voting for the American Idol than we do the president and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that shit ain't on paper, nigga. Like, we trust
All
who
online.
we trust who wins then, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, god damn. I just thought about it. Like, it just hit my head. But yeah, man, I'm just like, you know, a lot of the mistrust comes now from bullshit. You know, bullshit. You know, that basically what it is. Like, we, you know, before Trump, we didn't have this fucking problem, man. We didn't have people not trusting elections. I mean, you know, we thought something was funny with Bush and Gore. You know what I'm saying? They recounted the vote.
Right.
You know, Gore conceded, done. You know what I'm saying? Nobody came out saying the election was fucked up or
Right.
the election process was fucked up or anything of that nature. And had to you know, they recounted a couple of places, but that was it. But they didn't have fake electors going to places and trying to get in and all that bullshit. Not till Trump came in here and really caused all this bullshit. And I'm calling now. That's the only reason people mistrust voting now. Well, why is that? Because he wants to fucking cheat. That's why it is. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? He's the only motherfucker trying to steal the vote. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, because before that, nobody else even was thinking like that, even having that fucking problem, man.
Right.
So when it comes to mistrust, man, that's the biggest combatant right
Yeah.
there. Just misinformation.
Definitely agree. And I raise a red flag because I still don't agree that if you don't win I think you have to win both. If you don't win the popular vote, I'm not with this whole, I won the Electoral College, but I got 8 million people who said, you know, middle finger to me. Like, I don't even see how you see that as a win. But most Republicans win that way. Bush won that way. Trump won that way. Even when he won with the Electoral College, he still didn't win the popular vote. I just think that's a concern because there's more people, right, that are going to be impacted by someone they didn't choose, but we'll
Well,
leave that there.
the
I know why I hate the electoral. I get it. But at the same token, I don't agree.
Well, it's
I
a
think you should
stupid
win both.
reason.
Yes, it's
That was back when,
back in the, I don't know what
the
year that was.
1700s when
Right.
half the people couldn't read. That's why they had the electoral college.
It's time to progress. That's all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
that's what I'm
Progression
saying.
is necessary, and change sometimes is necessary, and that would be one. I just don't agree. But like you said, the misinformation is overpowering. And we need to come and fact check immediately. Like, even I am kind of mad at the media when they don't. I think you should fact check both. If somebody lies, call them on it right then and there. Use a lie. Let me tell you where. And then show them themselves lying. Like, let's just go on and
That's
just
black
put it
people
out there.
fact checking right
yes,
there.
Yes, fact check right then and there. Now, excuse
White
pause.
people don't fact check like that.
Pause. We're going to pause for the cause. We're going to go to commercial. We're going to come back and tell you what you said.
They let you live in your stupidity for a
Yes,
minute. You know
like
what I'm saying? We fact check right on. We call you
on
right
the
then
mark.
and there. and shit.
Use
Nah,
a
man,
lie.
you a
Let me
lie.
tell you about on
Use a
January
lie.
13th, 2022. This is what happened. Just go on and say that. We need to be swiftly about it and take down misinformation. I am mad at social media because there's too many things, too many memes, too many just blatant lies that people don't get checked on.
Yeah.
Now, they're doing better because they do fact check people's information. They're like, they took down my post because you was a lie.
Yeah.
Use a lie. That's why. Because your information is untruthful and it can be dangerous. We see. I'm sorry, most people here are just dumb. That's why I realize my husband says don't say that. But I'm like, some of you are just
Yeah, you ain't
stupid.
right. Some
You're just
people-
not.
Some people, a lot
It
of
ain't
people
for
don't.
this ain't for you. It's okay. Because you know what?
A lot of dumb people out there.
There's a lot more than I knew, and it's just dangerous to have them being fed misinformation. And the other of those is hold those who undermine that accountable. Trump, you are not. This is not good. You don't get to have leaders in place doing things that are wrong and dangerous to people and influencing people negatively. Where we got people now killing people, because they really believe these negative things are happening.
Right.
It's dangerous. That's why you put somebody in a leadership position who's meant to lead. And there's not everybody is meant to. It's okay. So again, the disinformation and then being transparent of the electoral process. Again, if we got to
Yes.
vote on our phones, you would know immediately who's winning. You know what I'm saying? We could see, 40% of votes are in. 50% of votes are in.
Just like American Idol, man.
Like American Idol. Like, people want transparency. They want to know. I remember that time that I voted for, it was Hillary and it was Barack Obama. I was still standing in line, and they said our state was for Hillary, and it made me mad. I was like, I ain't even got to press my button yet. Like, how we know who won? I'm still pressing my button. People don't like that. They want real time. Real time. Everybody wants to put their vote in. Everybody wants to know their vote counts, and being transparent would help that.
I don't know why I thought you was gonna say I voted for Ruben Studdard and shit right there.
You did not. Shut up.
I did. I was like,
Ruben.
I voted for Ruben Studdard. I got that in real time. And shit.
You do on American Idol. We need to call American Idol. They could solve our problems.
Like Ryan
Solve our
Seacrest
problems.
figured it out, nigga. Call him. Like
Call
somebody
him.
figured
Call
it out
him.
how to vote for people and get realistic things without all this bullshit. Like
Yeah.
call the American Idol people, man. Obviously
They got it right.
Hell, I pick up my phone and do it if I got to do it on my phone. I'd rather, but goddamn, figure it out.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think you made both of you guys made a lot of great points. I'm just gonna add one thing to that. It's just like you said, it's just transparency, man. What is the process? Not only like for transparency for like real time results, but everyone should. I have no idea. Like, I know what I do when I go vote. I go to a machine. Somebody walks me over there.
Give you a pencil. Get a
They give me a pencil so I can push the little things on the screen.
The COVID is over, nigga. I
COVID.
get my fingers out.
A paper comes out. I take that.
Put it
They
in the
walk me
machine.
over to this other thing, and I put it in another machine.
And you
That's
leave.
all I know.
Is it?
That's all I know. I don't know how. Like, what happens after that? Like, what happens? Like, where are the results going to? How are they tallied? Like, how many people voted? Like,
My
how many?
precinct,
What
yeah.
did they vote? Like, all of those results. The after, the behind the
don't know.
curtain shit. The shit that the Wizard of Oz, you pull the curtain back and the motherfucking wizard's back there kicking the motherfucking pedals and doing shit. I want to know that part. Like,
We
when you
don't
say
know.
transparency, I have no fucking idea what's happening. And that's why people don't trust the shit, because it's all a fucking secret. It's some shit it's the fucking wizard behind the goddamn curtain. And I
Yeah.
don't know what that motherfucker's doing back there. And
Yeah.
that's why people don't trust it. To me, that's another thing besides all the things you guys already said that maybe should be added is like, what is the process, man? Tell me
But
about
if you
how
had
the
real
fuck this shit
time and
happens.
you see the vote, like as you go and press your button, I don't know, in the precinct it says, okay, not your name or anything, but voted for this person or something. I don't
and
know.
it show my name,
Yeah.
like
Maybe your
I don't
initials or
care.
something. I don't care
Like, some
either.
people
I'm
wanna
proud
hide
about
they
who I
vote for,
vote.
whatever. I don't give a fuck. Show
I'm
the
proud.
names and everybody who they voted
Voted for.
And if a dead motherfucker show up on the list, you know somebody cheated.
There you go.
Well,
That's true. Like, why is it a secret?
Let's move it a few steps before. Why y'all still got my name on the list? Y'all gotta look that shit up when I'm there with my ID. Like nigga, like
You know I'm registered to vote.
I'm
Get the
just
fuck
saying,
outta
but
here.
y'all ain't got no computer, no laptop that can do
Piece
that
of
shit,
paper,
nigga. You still on?
write
I'm
your
still on
name,
paper right now.
sign-
I gotta sign here and sign
It's
there.
all part of the process, man. But once again, why?
Yeah.
Tell me
we can
why.
do digital signatures now.
Like, what? But
Yeah.
why? Maybe there's a reason for it. We don't know,
Yeah.
but they don't tell us. This is like
You
some
do
hidden
your
shit.
loan signature. My
Yeah.
kid got his apartment because I didn't go to San Marcos. You know what I did? I signed. Done.
And they don't care what your signature look like.
They
You
sure
go
did.
online,
No,
nigga.
Yep.
Yeah,
Tap the
you,
screen.
you put your name, and then what's the paper deal? Why do I gotta take this piece of paper over there to that machine? They ain't got a machine can do both. Like nigga, I'm
I
like,
don't know. That is, I mean, it's really, those are questions.
it's just weird. Like voting is
weird.
fucking weird.
That's
Weird.
a whole bunch of stuff that I don't know if it's weird, but I don't know why. Like I said, I can tell you everything. Why? Why do I have to have a paper from this machine to put it into another machine? Why can't this one machine just take my votes? I don't know. Maybe there's a good reason why there has to be a paper ballot, because maybe Texas has to have paper to have a trail. I don't know. But that motherfucking curtain needs to be opened up
Yeah.
so we understand what the fuck is happening and why it's happening now.
And why is the old person got to escort me over here? Like, what am I gonna do between the paper signing area and the voting machine, nigga? This person got to walk with me, nigga. Like,
You gonna kick over a ballot box or something? I don't know.
Like, you think I got these funny pieces of paper in my pocket? I'm gonna throw 3 of them in at one time, nigga. Like,
I don't
I don't even know what kind of paper this is, nigga. Like, what?
I don't know.
Oh,
It is
man.
weird.
It's weird.
But maybe that's why young people
think
don't
it's
trust
weird.
elections, and that's our
well,
next
they have to
topic.
go, nigga. They don't even know
Yeah.
that
Well,
process.
there you go. The ongoing struggle to engage young voters could be a major factor in the 2024 election. Despite their growing numbers, Gen Z and millennials historically turn out at lower rates than older generations. Wanda, why are Gen Z and millennials not showing up at the polls like older generations do?
Well, again, we talked about it, but disillusionment, they don't trust the political system. And they probably listen to us and be like, I don't want to do this. I know my kids are like, she's mad all the time. No, this doesn't sound fun. I think they're disappointment with the pace of change, because they're typically more progressive in nature, as we can tell. They're way more accepting of a lot of things that we're like, we still kind of sometimes side-eye or question, and they just don't have that. And so I think they're agitated. They feel like change is slow. I don't really like y'all. Everybody's saying this process seems very angry, you know, and it does. I mean, I think a lot of people get depressed and all kind of stuff. Mistrust of the candidates. They don't trust anything that's happening, and rightfully so. Yeah, the tech, the structural barriers. Most of these kids, if you think about Gen Z and millennials, they're at work. And they don't get time off like that. And I know my
Yeah.
kid works all the time. I'll be like, you can't take off. No, they want me to, you know, they get
Yeah.
scared to try to fire 'em.
Work.
You know, lack of education. Some of them are still getting their education. They don't understand the process. It's not easy. I mean, I'm pretty educated. I still have to read 20 million times to try to decipher some of these words. Low political efficacy, I guess, too. Like, they're just, it's not happy. It's just not good. And just to give you some statistics, though, I mean, and we are, just to let you know, younger voters are voting more than what we did. So it is increasing, but it's still low. So in 2020, the voter turnout, and this is for the presidential election, 65 and older was 74%, 45 and 64 was 69%, 30 to 44 was 60%, and 18 to 29 were 51%. So over half of them, they are voting, just not as the highest rate as these old folks that are about to, you know.
We're
Anyways.
old and about to die. That's a
Yeah.
whole different motivation behind it.
That's true. I don't know why they worried about what's happening to the world. You about to be, you know, in the promised land soon. But hey, you know, it is what it is. Then midterm, though, that's where all of us are negatively impacted. We vote for national, and everybody just falls off. So
And
it's
local
only
and all that.
yeah, 65 and older was 66%, so that dropped almost 10%. 58% for 45 and 64, 42%, and then 36% for 18 to 29. So if it's national, it seems like it gets more of a buzz, and anything else,
Yeah, 'cause
which
it's
is
on
more
TV
impactful.
more, that's why.
Right, but the ones that are more impactful are the ones you really should
Yeah,
be voting
local
for.
stuff. The stuff's
Local,
gonna- yeah.
and we don't vote. We don't turn out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and that's a nice way to say it. It's a couple of reasons why. I mean, I just think that a lot of young people really they're just not at that point of their lives where it matters. You know what
They
I'm saying?
think it
Some
don't
of 'em.
matter.
I'm just
Right.
saying, but the
Yeah.
where, like, for instance, once you start having family and home and you slow down a little bit, it becomes a little more important to you. Like when you 20, you clubbing all the time, or you going to Acapulco or whatever, you know, you just don't see the importance of doing it. A lot of that you say is lack of education, not understanding how that affects them. You know what I'm saying? And some of them are just, I want to say, my opinion. I'm gonna say my opinion, and maybe it's because I'm surrounded by people that just do dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to say all of them, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I have a bad, you know, millennials my fault, but I hang around a certain number of millennials that make me think all millennials are like that. So I think they're all dumbasses. But no, I just hang around a shitload of dumbasses at that age group. And so I don't want to generalize all of y'all. Some of y'all are pretty smart. Hell, some of y'all in Congress and shit. So, but I just think that, like, sometimes their arguments are just for the sake of arguing. Like, they're not even making sense to themselves sometimes when I'm talking to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I just feel like this generation of millennials and younger people, that's their point. It's like, I just want to be different. And sometimes I just argue and you're not even making fucking sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, that don't even fit your lifestyle. So why, you know, like, you have people arguing about Trump, and, you know, a big argument would be like, well, shit, man, Trump, man, you know, I got a PPP loan. Say, nigga, you ain't got no business.
Yeah.
You gonna go to jail. You know what I'm saying? Like, that wasn't legal, fool. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he didn't give that to you. COVID gave that to you. They don't understand, or they don't have the concept of how politics works. Oh, yeah, but you heard him say that, or you saw that on a meme or some shit, and you good with it. He didn't give you no stimulus check. He didn't give you a PPP. It ain't a come up like that. People don't come in the presidency and give people fucking money. Right. That don't work like that. Some bad shit happened called COVID, right? And he had to stimulus check the economy, so we all wouldn't go fucking broke.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's why you got that money. And then you kind of schemed up talking about you got a lawn service and shit. You ain't got a lawnmower. You got a lawn service. You went and got you a PPP loan. You know what I'm saying? And you think, oh, I'm good. Oh, yeah, they may hit you this year, next year. I guarantee you, one of these years, they're going to come for their money, fool. This is the United States government. They ain't forgot. It don't work like that. So all you people got PPP loans and think y'all good because y'all ain't heard shit. Keep waiting. It's coming. It's coming. They ain't going to let 20,000 roll, bruh.
No.
Ain't going to happen. And they got your name somewhere.
It's called a loan.
Yeah. They coming. And all you idiots that out there think, oh, man, the economy was great when Trump was out because I got a PPP loan. Dude, the economy don't work like that, fool.
I think they think it's, we were talking about that. We got to do a show on that where it's like how when policies go into effect, what is the later outcome? Like, how long does it take for you actually to feel?
Impacts.
You know, it ain't tomorrow. Okay, you got to check and now, yay, the government. No, that's not how it is not how it works. That's why we are feeling the negative impact of things that happened 3-4 years ago. They don't get that. They think a policy goes into effect, then instant gratification or instant negative impact. No, it doesn't work like that. And I think an economist, somebody needs to come in and talk to them about when a policy goes into effect, what's the time frame? You know? I don't think we'll get
Presidents
it.
never cut the American people a check for a good thing. I remember George Bush had to cut checks back. He cut us a check and took that shit right out of our income tax right the year after. You know what I'm saying? We thought, oh man, Bush is the man. Until your income tax came around, you can get nothing out of it.
Yeah.
I'm saying, so presidents don't cut checks like that. So for all you out there thinking that Trump cut y'all checks, and he's selling you golden tennis shoes and $60 Bibles, y'all are fucking fools if y'all think that's a reason to vote for this man and him put you back in office. Because guess what? He ain't cutting you no check next time. Unless something disastrous happens again. The way they got to save everybody's asses by giving us money.
Yeah, I think that the younger voters, man, the Gen Z and millennials, I just think that they're just disengaged because they're young. I think that's just most of it. Like, especially Gen Z. I think millennials are probably carrying the weight when it comes to like voting because they like 30 and they probably have gone through some things and they're starting to understand how policies of the politicians can directly impact their lives, like whether it's getting a house or, you know, just how much taxes they pay or making a
Yeah, they're
decision
growing up.
about their bodies. Those
Okay.
are things that like right now will impact them directly. But when you Gen Z and you like 20 and you still living with your moms and pops and shit like that, you probably don't care too much about that. And if you're disengaged, you're not going to get out there and make those voting decisions until you start to live that life where you are adulting. And now these things that the politicians are talking about are directly impacting you. So, what does that say?
Deadline to vote is October 7th.
Oh yes, thank you for that. So, don't forget
October 21st is early voting.
registration, voting registration. If you have not registered to vote, you better get your ass out there by Monday because that's the last day to register to vote.
It is
In
Monday.
Texas, at least, make sure that you get out, you register to vote by end of day Monday, and then early voting is
October starts
October
October
21st through November 1st. All right, so don't forget that. So that leads us to our last topic, a last discussion for the day, which is you just tired. People just tired of voting. Election fatigue is a major contributor to voter apathy heading into 2024. After years of intense political battles, nonstop media coverage, the constant barrage of political ads, social media debates, and polarization, people are burnt out. So, Ace, why is election fatigue causing a dip in voter turnout?
It's like when Trump decided to declare going for presidency, 2 years ago, was it? Or whatever. It was like 2 years ago, I think. And then they started campaigning. So from 2 years ago, and I just use that as a marking point. Then, the primaries, and then, the whole 9 yards. And then Biden's in, Biden's out. I mean, it's been a nonstop run talking about the presidency every day, all day. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing is, I heard one of the shows say, you know what, the one thing about the Kamala thing is they kind of showed that, why don't we just do this thing 6 months out? You know what I'm saying? Because she kind of declared, what?
Yeah, we don't need that
In
long.
June, you know what I'm saying? And like 6 months
That's a
out.
good point.
And we can, she's kind of proven that you can run an election from there. It drains on you. It drags on you, kind of keeping up with it and the whole rigmarole going through the whole ordeal. It's a lot, man. You know what I'm saying? So I can see if if you ain't a news nerd, political nerd like me and just into it every day, like if you're just a casual person, sooner or later you're gonna tune that shit out. You're like, it's presidential stuff right now. Guarantee you people was like, I ain't looking at that damn vice president debate.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
You right.
Tired.
I'm ready. Let's vote, nigga, by time. Let's get this shit over with. I'm even like, let's get this shit over with. Let's move on, dog. You know what I'm saying? Goddamn. So,
Yeah.
and like I said, we have a show every week talking about it. I look at politics all the time. So, like I said, that's just something I like to do. But imagine if that wasn't something I like to
thing,
do, man. Shit, I'm tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said cognitive overload. It's just the researching and the information and trying to find the candidates and deciphering what's misinformation, what's true, what's false. It just gets taxing. You're like, okay, I'm tired. And again, I like this kind of stuff. I like to research, hence why I'm in education now. But it can get tiring, just mentally. I'm draining. And I think also the exhaustion from the partisan conflict, the negativity. That's what makes me sad. When I go on and I want to really research information and I just see all the negative, ugly things that people say about each other. If you don't agree with their said topic or said candidate, it's tiring. Frustration, I think, too, also, with lack of change. We talk about the same things every 4 years or 2 years. It's education's on top of the ticket, guns on top of the ticket, climate change now. It's just tiring. It's like we talk about immigration. We talk about the same things over and over and over again, and I feel like there's just no resolve. And I think that's crazy. Like, I put you in place here because I want the problems to go away. We need less problems, not more problems. I think we just see more. And then just the media saturation. Like I said, I do like watching the news too, but sometimes it just gets over the top after a while.
Yeah.
Tiring.
I think like what you just said that really resonated with me is like and I say this all the time too, is like these talking points that just exist forever. They don't go away. Imagine Amazon having a problem that they had to solve, and every single 4 years they had to solve the same motherfucking problem. We wouldn't have an Amazon. they'd be out of business if they weren't coming up with solutions that they had for their problems. But we as a country, we got the same damn problem. And and even when the problem gets resolved, it's still a problem. Like, okay, we don't have slavery, but but still motherfuckers don't like black people. I mean, it may not be slavery, but it's still a derivative of slavery. Because motherfuckers didn't like slaves neither. Okay? Like, it's still an issue, like abortion. Okay, we had Roe versus Wade, that wasn't really solving it. Now they have this thing going to the states, that's not solving it. I mean, the same problems, like they just add a little tweak here or there, and the same problem just exists. Education, same thing. Healthcare, same thing. It never freaking ends. And if we were a business and you had the same problem every fucking year, and every 4 years you talked about it, you was the CEO of a company,
getting fired.
You gone. I mean,
yeah. Let me tag in on that a little bit, and I that makes sense from a business standpoint. Business got one common goal, and that's be profitable. You know what I'm saying? So that doesn't make you profitable at the end of the year. They'll make changes. The problem with politics is everybody has to profit off of what's happening. They just want their way. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's always the same shit. You might feel this way about a policy. You might feel that way about a policy, but you never solve it because you're not getting your way. In the end of the day, it doesn't matter if we're profitable or if it comes to an end result. It just comes if I'm getting the way that I want, pretty much.
I think it's about what's delivering value. Like, in a business, it depends on what type of business you are. Like, there's a reciprocal association. They don't have stockholders. They don't get money. So the revenues don't matter to that type of company. But the customers matter to that company. The members matter to that company. Same thing with us. From a politician standpoint, the people,
constituents,
the member. And do you care about the people? And sometimes, guess what? We got billions of people. None of us are going to all see things the same fucking way. That's impossible. But what we can do is call compromise, right? And if you could compromise and come to a place where, look, I'm not getting my way,
right?
But I'm getting some of the things that I want,
right.
And I'm okay with you having some of the things you want.
Right.
And that's the problem right there.
Well, like gun laws. Like everybody, you ask anybody, do you believe that little kids and I myself can't go to work because we could get shot and die? Most people are going to say, no, let's protect the kids. Let's protect the people. What are we doing to solve that problem? Where's the root cause? What is causing that? Right. That's what I think we all can come to agreement on. I think some people can say, for the most part, nobody wants death among children or other people who are innocent, right? When it comes to women's rights, most people believe that they should have autonomy to their body. Like, I don't want to tell you what to do with your body, and I don't want you telling me what to do with mine. I mean, most of the time, I think we have some commonalities for the most part, some generalizations that we can come to some, resolve to, and I think we just don't. I think I don't know why that is.
I don't know. Like, I don't want to get rid of like the Second Amendment. I think people should have the right to have guns, but I think that there should be a way to get them safely into the right people's hands and keep them out of the wrong people's hands. That's called compromise. I mean, I'm not here to like take your guns away from you. Believe me, please. I just don't want crazy motherfuckers running around with guns.
Yeah.
Trying to kill
and
folks.
the thing about it, let's stay with the Second Amendment here. Like, that shit was written for when the British had guns, and we don't want them taking ours away so they can shoot us up. So that's when it was really written. Not so you can go buy your 16-year-old gun a son for his birthday and he can shoot up a school.
No.
And that's what people are fighting for. That right? You're fighting for that right. You see what I'm saying?
It's crazy.
Like you
but you're not willing to take that. The point is, why are you not willing to take that off the table?
Exactly.
As a responsible person, part of your compromise should be, well, yeah, we shouldn't give them to like 16-year-olds. Like
an AR-15 for his birthday.
And leave it unlocked in the house.
Yeah.
We have kids who die of suicide. I just got notification. Like last week, he shot himself.
That's like
himself.
Yeah.
Like people won't compromise that.
Exactly.
They won't that's what I'm saying. Like, we can have those conversations, but it gets to the point where it's like, I think we can all agree that life is important, right? Life, like outside. Excuse me, let me be specific. Outside the womb, like I'm talking life, people, and I'm not saying that inside. That's a whole nother discussion. But I'm saying like living outside, breathing individuals. We want them to try to live as long as possible. Correct?
Yeah.
So why can't we come to a commonality of that?
Okay. And just to make this thing more complicated, because there's a lobbyist group that's going around telling people that they need guns and using fear tactics to saying that you need your guns for this and that. Don't let them take your guns away.
Sad.
Nobody's trying to.
And
take
that's their belief in life. And there are other people that are like, you don't really need guns for this and that or the other. You know what I'm saying? And that's the I think that's where the rubber meets the road when you talk about politics and never getting anything solved. There's always an ulterior motive behind it. NRA and the gun makers want to sell more guns, so they like to scare the shit out of a particular people that, hey, man, if you take your guns away, these people are going to come after you.
Yeah, but that's part of like the
and
whole,
you need an AR-15 for that.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the whole fatigue thing.
Exactly.
Like we just continue to talk about the same things over and over and over again. We won't solve them, but to your point, we can't solve them because we won't compromise. We won't have any flexibility in our ability to be compassionate about the needs of other people and our own. Like you said about survival of the fittest. It's all about what I want. It's not about what anybody else wants. But before we cut out of here, I did want to give you a chance to tell everybody what's that on your shirt. You got a Kamala shirt on today?
Yes.
Oh.
Don't get mad at me. Still come vote. But yes. What does it say?
If you got something to say
it to my face.
That's
But
right.
really his face, because if you upset me, I'm going to call him. That's my big brother over
She's
here.
Israel.
Yeah.
He's the United States.
He's United States. I'm Israel. Okay?
She's Israel. You know
so
what I mean?
just know, if you come to me and say something
she's
crazy.
on that preemptive shit. So, you know, you mess with her, she
So
going to
be
attack.
careful. Because you ain't got to deal with me.
She
You
might
got to
not,
deal with
you
that
got to
one.
deal with him at the end of the day in the
So
story.
just know that.
Oh, my God.
No, but real talk. Just get out there and, regardless, you got to go out there and vote.
Yeah.
Let your voice be heard.
Register, like Tina
Register.
said, register. You got until Monday to register, and then get out there and vote. Early voting, October 21st through November 1st, and then the general election is on November 5th. So
30 days out. We don't care how old you are. Get your ass out.
and you know what? Last thing before we cut out of here, man, I do want to say Monday is also going to be the anniversary of the Hamas attack of Israel. It's been a year. It's kind of crazy that it's been a year. I just want to say, we
Still got
respect
hostages over
and
there.
we respect all of the people of Israel, hoping for the best for them and all the hostages, and also the innocent people in Palestinians in Gaza who are being impacted as well. Any innocent person that's getting bombed, schools, hospitals, like you said, Ace, things like that, it's unnecessary, man. We should be able to solve our problems without all of this violence, but just for the anniversary of October 7th, I just want to give a shout out Israel, wishing, hoping for the best for you and anyone else who's been negatively impacted from any country by this violence. So, all right. So that's all we got for y'all this week. I want to thank my queen, Walanda, in the house, for doing what she do. Queen Tina over there on the comments, thank you for hanging in there with us, keeping us correct. I know we went extra long on the last topic, but it was a really good conversation.
Tina shaking her head.
It was a good conversation, man. The first two, we was in line. We was almost there on the first two, but that third one, we went rogue.
That was the one you was questioning today. You was like, man, I don't know about that last one. I
that
told you
rogue,
was going to roll
we
with
went
it.
rogue on that one. And I want to also thank Ace for always holding it down, bringing the independent thought of mind, frame of mind into the conversation, and just bringing us the knowledge, man.
I want to thank Walanda for always supplying the mimosas. We miss you because you ain't here.
I'm
We
sorry.
ain't getting
No
water.
mimosas, man.
Like
You probably don't give him drink. You be like, drink
The
your spit.
hospitality ain't here, man.
That's
Sorry, I'm
saliva.
working on them.
You got glands. You got saliva glands.
The
I'm
mimosa,
working on
I know
the mimosa,
everybody got
the
glands.
mimosa will be on the counter we walk in here. We know it's going to be a
Like,
good day.
everybody got glands, okay? All right, y'all. So thank y'all. We'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
All right.